Man, frustration. Great second half fight by our guys. Again, it's just continue to try to relay to them the fact that all these things are coming down to a possession or two, and you never know during the course of the game when that possession is going to be needed to be made. And the free throw box out that we missed late in the game, stepping up, missing a couple free throws late in the game, but even going back to the beginning, giving up an offensive rebound, maybe not getting back in transition. All those things add up to the final score. And it's a frustration that we're not able to have at this point in the year figured out maybe a better way to handle some of our business during the course of action.
Do you feel like there should have been something called after the louder bucket and also on the inbounds play late there?
No, they stopped it after the louder bucket. I can't talk about the other play because the last time I did 4 years ago, I got public reprimand, so I can't talk about it.
They had 42 points in the paint. I'm sure you knew coming in that was going to be an area of emphasis. Why do you think they were able to score so much down there?
One, a lot of those paint points came in transition, and Tristan Anaruna is one of the best players in the league. It's, there was a handful of times where I felt like we had opportunities to kind of get our chest in front of somebody. Marquise was, fighting his butt off down there against Anaruna. I don't think we had enough activity at times to make him uncomfortable. And then there was opportunities, I think, where we could have got our chest in front of people and we didn't do that. So, we have not defended the paint well all year long, and, this was just another example of it.
It seemed like outside of that Fulgueres bucket that finally went for you guys to tie the game, it just seemed like you guys couldn't get a shot to fall from Corbin there when it was a 2-point game from Fulgueres. Had that, like those 3 chances on the putback earlier as well, down by 2. What did that come down to?
I mean, Justice made the 3 in the corner, and then that cut it to 1. And then we had the opportunity, Josh could get a better look all night that he didn't get. So I thought we got some great looks. Then we got to the free throw line, we went 1 out of 2. So we had all the opportunities that we needed. It's just a matter of being able to maybe get one more stop or one more rebound.
Fulgueres had those 2 big rebounds, one on the defensive end and one on the offensive end to tie it. How important was his performance, especially down the stretch?
Yeah, I think it hurt that he got 3 fouls in the first half. Was only able to play 6 minutes in that first half, and that hurt us. Because again, he's not strong yet, but he's certainly long and he's aggressive and he gets his hands on balls. Obviously, he's a guy that we believe can make perimeter shots as well, so that can continue to help us create space. Because sometimes, some of the guys off our bench are not able to make perimeter shots, and it doesn't allow you to create as much spacing as you need. So, only having him for 6 minutes in the first half is killer. And it's like you have to understand how to play with 1 foul, 2 fouls, so that you don't go in there and put yourself in jeopardy to get a third, and then really have to be, hampered for the rest of the game.
Continuing on Alvaro, after those 2 Arnett misses at the free throw, he went in and basically tipped the ball back into the bucket, his own bucket. How do you handle a situation like that? He went down the court, obviously was upset with himself. How do you handle a situation, especially with a freshman like that?
Hope he learns from it. I mean, the hope is that he's going to be in a lot of those situations moving forward, and hopefully he learns from it. Hopefully he creates enough scar tissue where he doesn't allow that to happen again. And that's the only option, right? We'll show it to him. We'll talk about it. What we just try to talk to the team about in there is, again, like I said to him, sometimes in a practice setting, if that was to happen in a free throw situation, you would just, brush it off like it's no big deal, right? Well, everything's a big deal. You come down the stretch in February, March, everything's a big deal. Conference basketball, some of these games are decided by, 1 possession, 2 possessions. And again, you never know when that possession is where you can save a possession, where you can get us an extra possession, where you can make the play that doesn't allow them to have a successful possession. And, as a freshman, it's obviously disappointing that he wasn't able to make the play, but hopefully it's something that he can learn from as he moves forward, and, maybe that burns in his brain like this all matters.
17 points from Justice Williams today. You talked before about him giving you more defensively in last game. Have you seen him sort of turn a corner as of late on both ends of the court?
That charge take he took was a great play. I've been over on him all year about some of those kind of plays that are winning plays, and I still think at times he's picking and choosing a little bit on the defensive side, but I thought he's certainly given more effort he's trying to be more urgent. You know, I think that play was symbolic of that.
Josh Corbin went 5 for 12 from 3-point range. An area you guys haven't had too much success in this season. What was it like to see him have that much success? You know, obviously it didn't go your way, but 17 points in 5 for 12.
You know, Josh is a great shooter, and so, you know, we try to get him as many of those looks as we can. He'll probably be beating himself up because I'm sure he felt like out of the 7 he missed, he probably could have made a few more. So that's the kind of competitor that Josh is, and that's why we love to have him on our team.
Just thoughts on the overall atmosphere of this game, obviously being senior day, an emotional one. How do you think your team handled it and to stay with it down the stretch?
I don't know, senior day is not the same. It's like every last home game of the year should just be, maybe you'll be back next year day. Like that's like what we should just do, because these guys are at 3 schools, 2 schools. Again, I love Marquise, happy that he came here, love coaching him, you know, love Josh, love Jackson. Those guys are like unbelievable people to coach and be around every day, so I don't want to diminish, you know, their thing, but like senior day, I mean, like Michigan State's on, you know, all those seniors go and kiss the court after their, you know, when they get taken out of the senior day. Like it's not the same. It's not like you were there 4 years and everybody knew, you know, watched your growth, watched your development, watched you improve. You hang out for a little bit, you play some games, people cheer for you. You know, it's not. It doesn't have. I don't think it has the same impact that it used to have when you when guys were at one place for, you know, 4 years, 5 years at times. You know, but again, I don't want to diminish Josh and Marquise and Jackson because I would love to have them back for multiple more years. Right, those guys are awesome to be around, but it's just not the same.
How much does that wear on you as a coach, being here as long as you've been, and you go to another league and you refer to things like transfers? It's not the same.
Yeah, it's just a system that's been created, you know, and it's. I mean, I transferred myself, so I don't fault people for doing it.
But you did it under a different situation.
Yeah, like you had to think about it. Like when I thought about transferring the first time that I had a conversation with my family about it, initially I said no. I told this guy I was going to stay here for 4 years, and you know, my dad said that's the only answer you could have given me that wouldn't have had me try to potentially say play devil's advocate. And then 2 weeks went by and I couldn't stop thinking about it. I knew I was going to have to sit out a year. I knew that was part of the consequence of making that choice, and I felt like it was worth it, and it ended up working out. Even at that time, 25 years ago, or 24 years ago, when you left the program, people thought that there was something wrong with you. How could you not want to keep your scholarship? How could you not want to be coached? And now everybody leaves places, and it's like, what's wrong with the program? You know, there's been a lot of guys that aren't here anymore that we'd love to have still here. There's a lot of guys that aren't here anymore that this might not have been the place for them, and so that's okay. That's part of it. But it's sometimes a little more fun when you can kind of have those extended relationships and the extended experiences of seeing guys, you know, grow, you know, from year to year to year, help them figure out what it takes to be able to win in college, help them figure out what it takes to be successful out of college. And it's just not it's not the same as it was. Doesn't mean it's worse. It's just what it is. And you know, I was really hopeful that the NCAA would hold the line on the 2-time transfers still having to sit out, because I felt like that could potentially create a little bit of continuity in your program, where you knew, okay, this kid already transferred one time, you might have 2 or 3 years left with your program, and you could help build them and grow and maybe have some of that, right? But when they lost that battle, you know, I think it's just created a system of chaos, and now everything you say and everything you do, and you know, even like today with Steph not playing, you know, you sit there and you go like, does this just push him away? And so you have a choice to say like, okay, do we do what is right for the program and try to help Steph learn a lesson or help hold everybody accountable to behavior? Or do you just say, forget it, let him play? Because if you do discipline or punish somebody, I don't know if there's enough people out there that still say, hey, that's the right thing to do, and we want to be around a group of people that are going to hold people to the right standard, versus like, you took a game away from me, and I'll just go play somewhere else where they won't do that. So it's what it is. I battle with it a lot about, like, you know, we really have tried in the last 3 years to get some people with excellent character, and we do. Our locker room is great. We have not had any real issues of any note in the last 3 years, because guys have been great. Guys show up, they work, they're trying to listen, they're trying to learn, and I wish we'd win more, but at least you know that guys are going to be there ready to fight tomorrow. And that wasn't maybe the case, you know, 4 years ago, when we had guys that just said, see ya, I'm out. I'm not getting what I think I want, or I think I deserve, or not even deserve, because you'd have to work for something to deserve it, but like, I'm just walking away. And so, but I don't know. I go back and forth, because you see some of these programs that win a lot, and they seem to just be, you know, grabbing whoever they can grab and saying, go play. And I don't know. I don't think that's necessarily what this was intended to be. I'm glad that guys are able to get money. I think it's awesome. I have no problem with that. I just wish there'd be some kind of ability to coach and work and teach and challenge and hold people accountable, and then say, you know what, this is hard, but it's going to serve me in the future. And I don't know if that's what everybody's about, per se. So I'll get off my soapbox.
Is that your product of your background, and where you went to school, and who you were coached by, and who you were surrounded by?
Yeah, I started with my parents, right? Like, you weren't allowed to quit stuff. Like, all right, you hate soccer? Well, when the season's over, we won't sign you up for soccer anymore, but there's 4 games left, and you're going to go play soccer. It's how I was raised. I mean, I tell some of the biggest moments of my life, like when I was my son's age, was the first time that I played like outside of my town. I was the best player in my town, and I stunk when I played outside of my town, because there are other really good players from every other town. And I concocted, at 8 years old, I concocted this scam that I had to quit this league that I was playing in, because I was doing terrible, right? And so we literally roll. I tell my dad I gotta quit, and I played for this guy, Mr. Neff, and he was the meanest person I ever met in my life. And he would scream at us and yell at us at 8 years old, and I was like terrified of the guy. And so we go down to practice on a Saturday morning, and we go in the parking lot, and we get to the parking lot, and my dad puts the car in park, and I go to get out, because we're going to tell Mr. Neff that we're quitting, because I convinced my dad to drive me down here. Well, my dad doesn't move. And I said, what are you doing? He goes, you're quitting? Go in there and tell Mr. Neff. And so at 8 years old, I had to walk into the gym. Mr. Neff was waiting for me, and he's like, you're not quitting. I tried to give him the same story. He's like, you're not quitting. Start working harder. You want to be better? Start working harder. You know, and 10 minutes later, my dad came in, and he had my gear for practice, because I'm sure they had concocted this plan that he's going to come down here and quit, and you're going to tell him not, and no one's going to let him do it. And then it's start working harder. And I started to work harder, and all of a sudden I got better. And people started to notice that I was better, and I had more success. And it's like, wow, what an aha moment at 8 years old. And now you have kids that are 19-year-old, 20-year-old freshmen that are coming here for the first time, being told that they need to get better at A, B, C, or D, and they don't understand that process. Because every time that they've been faced with it, I'm not the best player on my team, or I'm on the B team, or I got cut, then we just go find some other outlet for you to feel good about yourself, instead of like going back to, how about you work harder? How about you try harder? How about you practice more? If you don't give effort, I don't really think you have the right to get upset about the outcome. And I see so many, I have an 11 and a 9-year-old, I see so many kids in youth sports that lose their mind when they miss a shot, but like only shoot a shot in the game. They don't go in their backyard and practice, or it's like, you should be happy if you hit the rim. You don't practice. So that's kind of what my background is, and that's what my upbringing was, and I'm thankful for it tremendously, because as much as it drives me insane sometimes, trying to figure out how to manage 20-year-olds now, it gives me a little bit of a North Pole on, you know, the decisions that we make. So,
Did you transfer because of academics?
I'd like to say yes, but no. I transferred because of basketball. It just happened that I transferred to a really good academic school, but I transferred because of basketball, because I wanted to have a great experience as a college player. I wanted to compete for a championship. I wanted to play in the NCAA tournament. Those were part of my goals. And I went in and I told my coach, hey, I'm thinking about transferring. He said, if that's the way you feel, you should probably leave. And I was the leading scorer, leader in minutes, leader in assists, leader in field goal percentage, leader in three-point plays, leader in steals, leader in every statistical category. That was the first thing he said, I'm real big on loyalty, and if that's the way you feel, go. And I was like, oh, I didn't come in here to say that I'm going. I came in here to say, hey, I have concerns, I'm thinking about this, whatever. And he probably could have talked me into staying. And so, like, when we have some of those conversations with guys now, like, I think about that experience, and we try to have a conversation about, like, why do you think there's a better opportunity, or why do you think that, you know, there's a better situation? And sometimes it is absolutely the right answer to find a new situation or do something different. But no one ever writes the story on the guys that transfer and don't have the level of success from the places that they left, and that's. You know, so we only get the stories of the guy at Tennessee who was, you know, who's going to be on draft boards now, who was, you know, wherever he was and how good he is, and, you know, some of those kind of stories. We don't ever get the stories of the other guys that, you know, averaged X and now average Y, and their minutes were X and now they're Y, and, you know. So I don't think everyone gets a clear picture of, like, what's really out there.